Aloha, everybody, and welcome to Spirit Chat Radio. Today, we're going to be talking about a subject that has been milling around the media for a while, or it feels like a while, because I keep getting tons of Facebook messages and emails and people asking, has my astrological sign changed? Is the astrology chart going to change? And I don't want to be a different sign. I like my sign. Everybody is very attached to their signs. They've had them since they were born. They feel like they fit them. They're very attached. They don't want to change signs. So, to sum it up quickly, no, your astrological chart has not changed. It's not going to change. No, you are still your same sign. This information that's been going around is because people, the media, has gotten a hold of some information which they think will change everything, which is Ophiuchus, the 13th constellation that they think that the Babylonians left out 2,000 years ago when the astrological chart was created. And this is so far from the truth, it couldn't be further from the truth. They knew about Ophiuchus. They knew about other constellations. There were something like 60 other constellations. They knew about all these constellations, absolutely knew it was there. They left it out on purpose. It was purposely left out at that time. They had a system, they had a chart, they had some math and numbers and things that they did, which I believe was given to them in dream state. They were given this information. They created this chart, and it was specifically built to fit whatever the system was that they were given and that they were creating. It was built with the same knowledge of the same star systems that we have now. I mean, there may have been a few others that maybe they didn't miss, but nothing that's going to have any type of impact on your astrology chart. So they knew about it. They left it out purposely. The other thing that people talk about is the tilt of the earth, which doesn't have anything to do with it either, because it's also based on the rotation of the sun, not the earth. So yes, there's been all kinds of safeguards that were put in, like as far as you can have this much degree shift and that much degree shift. The Babylonians were extremely intelligent, and in fact, what makes this interesting is or even believable, I think, for some people, is I feel that people think or feel that since it was done 2,000 years ago, all of a sudden we've made all these advancements, and we're in this technology type industry, and we're so smart on a technological level, and that we have so much more information, and we're just really just a lot smarter, when that is so not the case. And I hate to burst everybody's bubble, but when I look in psychically, and even if you do your own research, the knowledge that the people here on Earth had 2,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, it was astronomical, the amount of knowledge that they had and the things that they could do at that time without having technology the way that we know, like iPhones, or I don't know, computers, whatever you want to say. But the way that they could cut materials, handle materials, cut stones, build things, they were very, very far advanced civilizations. They were very far beyond where we even are now, so far beyond comprehension of some things that I understand that it seems weird, because like if you look back and go, well, in the 1700s, we've obviously advanced way past that. And, in the 1500s, we've advanced way past that. But it doesn't work that way. So back when I look back in history, and even the things that I'm aware of, and even just if you go back and research, you can just research and figure this out. You don't have to be psychic like I am. If you go back, there was a timeline where, yes, the knowledge was lower, if you go back 10,000 years, but civilizations advanced to a ridiculously high level around that time. And, even with Atlantis and Lemuria and all that, those civilizations were really, really advanced cultures. They knew how to do things. They knew what was interesting about that time frame is they actually knew how to work with universal energy. Actually, they knew how to work with with universal energy, with energies, with movement, with telepathy type stuff, with kinetic energy. They knew how to not, I don't like to use the word manipulate, but they knew how to manipulate and change forms of different types of things and atoms and such. And that was their knowledge base. It was crazy what they knew. And then what happened is we actually lost that knowledge with some events and things that happened, and with some of those cultures dying out. The knowledge was lost, and then we had to rebuild again, and so we became where we were way less knowledgeable again, and then we had to build ourselves up to where we are today. So there was a time in culture where it was really advanced, and so I think that that's why this is even can come up as believable, where people can even believe it, is because they don't think that that is true. So it absolutely was true. Your astrological sign hasn't changed. And the other thing is, when you're learning about the stuff that NASA's putting out, that's basically astronomy versus astrology. There are stars. Astrology is based on the behavior, the study of the behavior of people, depending on the different positions of constellations, etc. So they're also very different things, even though that they're connected. So it might be like apple and orange. They're both fruit, but they're very different things. And so that's an important thing to know, and that's a fun subject because, for instance, I just did a post talking about the black moon that had come through. I'd gotten some questions on that, and I thought that subject was kind of interesting, and it was kind of fun because every time that people come up with what they hear or feel like is a new term, and they get excited about it and they want to know more about it, and it's just like this new thing. Well, the reason I want to talk about that is because astrology and energy and like moons and moon phases and where we're at astrologically, where we're at as far as full moon, half moon, all of that kind of stuff, second full moon of the month, etc. It does affect people, and it affects people in really interesting ways, and it's really cool to be aware of how it affects you, and to understand that there's something to it when you're looking into astrology as far as making advancements in career or just life, or making changes. Tons of world leaders have consulted astrologers for as long as it's been around. There is definitely something to this. What was fun about and interesting about the black moon that had come through is all of a sudden that hit a wave. It hit a wave just of people, just flooded the world with some ridding of old energy. And so people were finding that they were being forced to change plans abruptly. If you were on my Facebook group, you most likely seen this because everybody was like, wow, that's exactly why I did this. It was causing people to have to figure out a new path for something that had been reliable, handle stuff that you've been putting off. But releasing old energy is what that moon energy was causing, this black moon phase. And it was releasing old, out with old, in with the new, addressing things you've been ignoring. But it was something that was very forceful. So it was causing very abrupt decisions or things to happen in your life that was causing you to just take notice for a minute and having to handle and address situations that were kind of in your past, or that this moon energy wanted you to leave in your past. The other thing that happened with this moon energy, which was very poignant and hit everybody across the board, was the sudden urge to spring clean, reorganize, declutter, and just it was hitting people just like in waves of instantly. You're in a room and it's like, I need to organize this. I need to throw this stuff out, even if it was a corner of a room. But most likely, if you started with a corner, you were going through the whole room. The next thing you know, it was like 2 hours later, and it was just this urge to really organize and shed old stuff. People don't understand much about it. They just feel like, oh, it's just this urge to clean. But what that does energetically is it rids energy from your life and from your environment when you clean and organize and you get rid of old stuff and you dust. You're really energetic, doing a really full energetic cleansing of your space. And so with this black moon energy, it was really intense with the ridding of the old stuff and really clearing out any old energy for new energy to flow through. So it was kind of strange and off balance for people for a little while, and it was, or for a few days there, like, it, because some of the things that you were having to address, like I said, were kind of abrupt things, but also at the same point in time, then you went and cleaned your bedroom or your living room or whatever. So it's a nice energy, but there is absolutely something to moon energies, and it's really important when you're developing on a psychic level, which is what I wanted to talk to you guys about. It's really important as you begin to open yourself in your psychic senses, I guess I would say, that your spiritual body is very, very in tune to universal energy. So it's very, very in tune to pulls and waves and movement through universal energy. And universal energy is very dictated by the sun and the moon and the stars. So when they're having different moon phases and whatnot, that universal energy is really connected to our spiritual body. And it's really, really interesting that pets also, just so that you know, I don't know, all animals are super in tune with lunar energy and just the stars and whatnot. They really make different behavior patterns in animals, and because animals tend to be so in tune to it that they don't let their mind get in the way, and they don't then change their behavior patterns like people do. So people can become very in tune with any astrological energy or the stars moving, the moons, whatever. They can feel it. They can become very aware of it. It can be very noticeable. They can be in tune with their spiritual body. But the difference is people a lot of times will tend to override that feeling with any type of mental thought process. You know, they might be like, oh, I don't want to do this, or I shouldn't do that, or maybe they put off cleaning. However, with this black moon energy, it was so intense that it was overriding people's minds. I swear, it was funny. So this is something that you're going to want to be more aware of as you develop psychically. It's something that you're going to want to notice more, or you're just going to, awareness is just key here. And I know you guys hear me talk about this a lot, but when you become more in tune with your spiritual body and your psychic senses, you're going to notice a lot of different things, and moon phases, and different things like that. I know we talked about Mercury retrograde before. These are things that you're going to notice will affect your mood or behavior or some ups and downs that are happening in your life, especially when you're being in tune with your spiritual body. Now, most of the time, your mind will step in, like I said before, and kind of be like, okay, well, this must be related to this situation, or it must be related to that situation. But sometimes it's not really related to any specific situation. It's just the universal energy and its movement and the way that makes you feel. Because your emotions and how you feel on the inside are really, they're basically coming from and tied to your spiritual body and your intuition and your psychic senses. People think that it comes from their physical body somehow, but it's not. It's actually tied to your spiritual body. So you may be having some ups and downs with these phases sometimes, but it's good to know awareness is just key. It's easier to let go of some things that are making you feel not so good when you realize, oh, you're just tuning into universal energy. It's also good when you're feeling really good and realize you're tuning into universal energy, because that's also magnifying and enhancing the abilities that you have. It's also magnifying those and making that more enhanced, or those abilities stronger. and your ability to pull things into your life stronger, the ability to make change. You have a universal energy behind you that's really intensifying any type of energy you send out into the universe to make change or to have a positive outcome. So it's also really important to realize in that regard. And it's just different when you learn to tune into your spiritual body. You'll notice that you won't quite feel the same. You won't feel the same as you did before, because you're going to have, like I said, a lot more awareness of so many more things that go on in life, that make up life, that make up this earth, that make up who you are, that your existence, how you live, how things come into play in your life. There's so much more to make up your experience of being here on this earth than just the things that you can physically see. You will be learning to be more in tune with those things as you begin to psychically develop and become in tune. You will learn that there's so much more information on how everything operates around you on a daily basis that you might not have known before. There's so much knowledge that you can gain, and you actually, when you learn to tune into your psychic senses, one of the coolest things I think is, especially for those of you who are control freaks out there, and I know there's a lot of you, and I have had that issue before in my past as well. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think that a lot of people who want to control things just, they feel like if they have some sort of control, that their outcome will be in a way that makes them internally feel better or feel okay, And the thing with universal energy, and when you learn to really open up your belief system as you become more in tune with your spiritual body, and when you learn that there's so much more knowledge out there, and you actually will learn that you have or can have or feel like you can have a lot more control of your outcome without being in control, which is weird because that's kind of like, that doesn't make any sense. But you will learn to let go more because you will learn how to direct energy better, and you will learn how things actually work, so you won't feel like you have to just hold on to it and force it a certain way, because you'll learn that that's not the way that things work in the world. So for instance, I'm sure you've heard the saying, if you hold a bird in the hand and, hold it tightly, you're going to crush it. But, if you let it go, it may come back to you, type of saying that. My point being, once you understand that, yes, you can crush the bird, but if you have some type of communication with the bird, and the bird is understanding that you wish it to come back, so it goes and it comes back, and this develops into a whole communication and understanding of it leaving and coming back. That's kind of how it works with universal energy. And it allows you to relax, and it allows you to let go and trust that we're not here to struggle. We're not here to crush all the birds. We're not here to be in control all the time in the way that you think we're meant to be in control. It's hard to control things that you don't have much understanding. And when you base this off of physical existence, then that means you have to control a lot of things, such as people, decisions that they're making. You have to control timing of stuff. And look at all the people around you on a daily basis and how many things you would have to control to get things to fall into place the way that you want to. And think about it. Usually when you're trying to control a situation, think about this. This is really important. You really, really are trying to control people. You're trying to control the way that they behave and or them doing something for you. Like, let's just say you applied for a contractor's license or something. I don't know. I'm just making up stuff here. And you really, really want to get it, but you have to be approved. That's still some type of control because you're hoping that the person who reviews your application or whatever then chooses in your favor, then sends you the thing and you get it. So then let's say you're looking for a job. It's again the same type of thing. There's somebody that you are hoping that their behavior is a certain way, and you start to feel out of control because there's too many factors involved and too many people involved to control, and then it makes you feel like you're not in control of anything, which makes you feel like you want to and need to control more things to make your environment right because you think that those people might know what's right for you, not know what's right for you, etc. It's a whole thing. When you learn how universal energy works and with the way that everything naturally flows, we're just a little teeny planet in the middle of a giant galaxy, or a galaxy that's filled with many, many other galaxies that filled with all this other space. The rules don't just apply to this little teeny planet. These universal laws that I talk about, the moon phases, all of this energy flows throughout the planets and the galaxies, and it just goes on forever. There's all this knowledge of how things can flow and move in your favor that you don't even really know about. So that's also really good to be aware of, because when you start paying attention to how you're feeling with different moon phases or different things that are happening during the month besides just your own stuff that you have going on in life, when you're paying more attention to it, it allows it to be more believable that there is a lot of energy behind the curtain that you don't know about or don't have a lot of knowledge of. It allows you to realize that you have more control, or you potentially have more control. It at least opens the door for you to sort of go, there must be something more to this. There must be something more to what I currently believe. And so that will allow you to question things, which will allow you to open the door, which will allow you to get more information, which will allow you to believe and work more with universal laws and universal energy and that sort of thing. And yes, I am rambling on now from did your astrological chart change to the black moon to your spiritual body and to opening your belief system to universal energy, because I feel like that's actually a gateway to move you towards understanding and utilizing universal energy to the best of your ability, and kind of letting go control and really understanding that universal energy works with your thoughts. It works with different star alignment and whatnot. Your thoughts are really, really powerful. You can manipulate and move energy. All people work with universal energy, whether they know about it or do not know about it. Even you, if you believe it or don't believe it, you work with universal energy. How you control it and manipulate it is different than other people, most likely. You might be good at it, you might not be so good at it, but if you're on the other end going, well, this sucks and I don't like the way this is going at all, well, then that means that you are trying to manipulate energy in a way that you're probably basing it out of fear or worry or just not enough knowledge of what you're scared might potentially happen, and then you worry about it and then it becomes a reality, etc., etc. So if you're working well with universal energy, those are the times you're usually not worrying about, and you're like, wow, this would feel really good if this happened. I would like this to happen because this would feel really good. And then you leave the details up to the universe. And it's weird because once you get that, once you really start working with universal laws and universal energy, and you realize that everything's about feeling how it feels. So if you're concerned about an outcome of a situation, you just start thinking, you don't try to think and visualize the details of this outcome that you want to see. You start visualizing in more of the feeling in your body, or you start being more in tune with that energy and go, well, I just want to feel really good when this is done. I want to feel really relieved when this is done, if that makes sense. So once you start tuning into your spiritual body, how it feels, paying more attention, you can pay more attention with these moon phases. This is a huge step for you with developing your psychic senses and with moving forward in a positive way and making changes in your life and realizing that make more effort towards feeling good about an outcome of a situation than you are about trying to control the outcome in your mind. Like, well, everything needs to go like X, Y, Z. If you stop doing that and you go, I want to just feel good when this is done. I want to feel relieved when this is done. And then you just trust that there's universal energy all around you and universal laws, and there's something bigger than us that is way beyond planet Earth, that is operating the whole entire kit and caboodle system. Like, there is a lot of strong energy going around. And you just trust that there's something going on. You're going to see different things happen. So, yes, I did get off on a tangent a little bit on this, but to sum it up, I'm just going to go back to your astrological sign did not change. The Babylonians were insanely smart and light years beyond where you think that they were, most likely. Maybe you haven't thought about it, but then the media thinks that they were. They definitely took into the account all the stars or constellations that we know about now, and different situations of them changing. Everything changes and moves. As far as sun and even the earth tilting on its axis, they've seen that coming for a really, really long time. So know your sign hasn't changed. You are the same one as you've been when you were born. Your children will be the same one. The black moon was kind of cool, but be in tune with the phases and feel how it feels when things come up, and start to become familiar with that, because it will do you a lot of good as you become more in tune with your abilities and your senses, and you come more in tune with your spiritual body. Become familiar with how it feels. How do these things feel to you? It's important. That being said, if you'd like more information on other things, or you're starting your spiritual journey, I do a lot on the keys to spiritworld.com. I also open my psychic ability class that will only be open for another like 12 days or something like that, and then it'll be closing till December. You can find that information there. You can go to psychicabilityclass.com. That has been a huge success. People love that class. It's been really fun. And I also have my Spirit Chat videos that I do on my Higher Purpose Learning group. If you haven't been in that group, you might want to check that out as well. Again, you can find all this on my Keys to Spiritworld .com website page. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at jennifer@keystospiritworld.com. And until the next Media Frenzy, I guess, we probably won't be talking about this again. All right. Have a wonderful day. Aloha.